Hi. Good evening. Welcome. Thank you for joining me this evening. I did a thing not too long ago. I cut my hair. I just put it in a ponytail upside down and I cut it and it gave me layers. And it's still long, but I was starting to sit on it and I'm saving my hair for maybe to make a wig when I'm older and I lose all my red hair. So it's funny. Red hair is such an identity for me for so long because it got me a lot of unwanted attention in my life. And then I started to really love being a redhead because it's a unique thing. And red runs on both sides of the family, so I got a double whammy, which was kind of fun. We have a lot of redheads in the family, and yeah. Hi, Tracy. By the way, last time I was on live was before Valentine's Day. Did you get some Valentines? I did. This is handmade by my friend, and I'll keep her anonymous. And it was the sweetest card to get in the mail. It has a nice sentiment in it. This is someone I used to work with, and she remembered me being one of the little Valentine fairies. I always did something for everybody every year, and I really thank you for remembering that. That was always fun for me. Some people didn't ever say thank you or appreciate it. I don't know, but it was always fun for me, and I always like to do like little ornaments for people too. I'd always get like a stack of. I remember one year I did like red snowflakes or something. I always try to do something red for some reason because I was kind of into the red on the tree for the time I was working there. But that was always fun too, and just put it on people's desk and be like a little elf. That was fun. But yeah, so thank you for the beautiful card. It made me really happy to get that. All right, so you guys remember me showing you my calendar, right? I wasn't very good at drawing in it this week. It was a little bit of a hectic week. So I've got all of these days to fill in, so I thought maybe I'd work on that while we're hanging out. If you have something you're working on, just hang out with me. Let me keep you company while you're cooking dinner or crocheting or whatever. I don't know if I may not say much while I'm drawing, but I'll show you what I'm doing. And I also I want to show you like my little paint palette that I use. And I can't find my watercolors. Excellent, Tracy. Good job. Let's play with watercolor. I can't find my tube paints to fill. That's what I use to fill these up is like little tubes. I do this organizing and then I can't remember where I put stuff. And yeah, I'm still looking for them because I was trying to take inventory of the colors that I like to use. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know where I put them. And here's my fresh water. I always like to just use a glass. I know some people like to have like a little water container for each color they use. I don't care. It gets mixed up and then I'll just go get fresh water. But this is about the size I like to do. And then this brush, I've showed you guys this brush before, but this is a Simply Simmons. I can't show it to you very well. Focus. Simply Simmons. This is a round number 5 brush. So it's a little bit fatter. I like this one a lot. It's kind of like my favorite size brush. And then this, I think I showed you guys this before, but this is my glitter palette. This is a Fine Tech pearlescent colors. This is from Germany. This is a really good brand. And then all the colors came with a gorgeous press pattern on them, but the paint had a hollow effect to it. So it was like there was one layer of paint, and then when you worked down into it, it got hollow, and that drove me crazy. So one day I just filled my pans with water. I let the paint get soft, and then I just kind of mixed them in. So now it's like solid paint, but they're all glittery. From the silver I've used the most, which is surprising to me because I feel like I dip into the gold. Like this gold I love too. And then this is like a lighter gold, and then 2 coppers. So this is a really deep copper, and then this is like regular normal copper you'd think of. And these are I feel like this palette was a little pricey, but I've also had it for I think I bought this in like 2018, and I'm still using it. So if you divide that by years, that's not that much money. And I've still got plenty of years left unless I start painting a little more frequently. But I was doing that. Like I put some of the gold on this page here. You can kind of see it like here. So I kind of try to use it to highlight stuff. Sorry, my light's not working very well. And where did I did that somewhere else on these little old paintings that I printed out last time I showed you guys. It's hard to see, but I put some gold here. So that was that paint. And I also did it on this one, like around the edges. It just adds a really, I don't know, it's lovely. I like it. So anyway, I'm going to catch up with my week here. Today was a very blustery day, but it was like an early spring kind of day, and the wind was blowing a little bit, and I got in the dirt and I started cleaning up a couple of the beds. I replanted a rosemary, and then I actually planted some tulip bulbs. We'll see. It's an experiment, but I figure, the winters are getting shorter, and why not give it a try? It's worth it because they've been sitting in the garage all winter anyway. So I put them in the ground, and it's so temperate here. It doesn't freeze. The ground doesn't freeze here. It's just too mild. So we'll see. I'll keep you posted. But I picked last fall when the bulbs were on sale, I picked a gorgeous orange color, and it's called like Emperor Orange, I think. And then the other one was this light pink with a little bit of yellow in it. And I think that one was called Apricot something. So those are the 2 that I planted together. And when we're sitting on the couch in the living room, we'll be able to look out and see them out in the corner of the front yard there. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, the heather is blooming here. My daffodils are coming up. The apricot tree is flowering, and I pruned it pretty good this year because I want more apricots than 6. We got like 6 apricots last year, and that's because I didn't prune. And so we'll see if we get more this year, but that's what you're supposed to do, is like keep the main branches out. And so I cut all the side guys that were starting to go this way, and it kind of killed me to do it, because there's cute little blossoms and stuff, but you got to do those painful things when you're growing food and fruit, you got to snip and clip and kind of tame them back. So anyway, I picked let me show you my other palette. So I dipped into this one. Okay, this palette is a Pelikan palette. You can see Pelikan there with a K. This was like my very first paint palette, and my parents helped me buy this right outside of college. And yes, some of this is still the original paint, but like I said earlier, I would take the tubes and squeeze the paint back in here as I was using it up. But that's how long I've had this. I graduated in 1990. So I've been using this palette that long. How about that? Mixing colors. Yeah. So anyway, I just dipped into this blue here, and I'll show you what I'm painting. And I think my color aesthetic came from getting this palette, because this is not a typical, like, these aren't the colors in school that they tell you to use. You know, you're supposed to use like burnt umbers and all the burnt sienna, like all the burnt colors, which was never really my thing. Like these two down here, like this one, that's the burnt sienna. That's still like the original paint. That's how much I don't use it. Was this one too? Yeah. Like those earth colors some people love, but I was like, I want all the colors. And this is a transparent, not opaque, which I didn't really get when I first started painting. So I guess that means they were kind of lighter and you needed more paint to build up the color. But because of having like the rainbow in here, that's what I need to have in my work. So that's kind of my, I think it's actually kind of fun that I learned how to do art and practice and play without being in school, because then I could not be inhibited by rules and, you know, like what you're supposed to do. So I think it's great for people to explore on their own. And I ended up, you know, I did go back to school and I did get an art degree, and that was fine. But I got valuable and lovely information there too. But I don't know, it's more fun to just like paint and like do your own thing and sort it out, play and figure it out, because there's no wrong way to do it, you know. So I started to do like little, I did some dots and then I connected the dots, made little V's. I'm so abstract right now. I don't really know why, but I think it's because it's what I see in my head first. I know that doesn't make any sense maybe, but like visually I see things swirling and moving, and it's almost like whatever I'm looking at and see in my mind, these are like moments, like the second, because it's already changed like the next second, if that makes any sense. It's like when you're watching like a ball roll down a hill, you can take a snapshot and the ball will be here, but then in the next second it's already further away and it's going to be different. So that's the best way I can describe what I'm creating and drawing. So yeah. I think I'm going to pick orange next. I'm going to go into my, it's over here, this one. I think this one's cadmium. Actually, it says vermilion, but I think I started using cadmium when I refilled it. It's kind of a deeper orange. I feel like vermilions are red, kind of orangey red. But I'm doing my Broncos colors. I can't help it. Orange and blue. Ooh, that's neat. My brush made a cool shape. Ooh, that looks neat. I do a lot of dots, and there's this thing that I do. Again, I don't know why, but I'll do this. I'll show you here. Okay, rinsing out my brush. I also, when I rinse my brush out, then I have a little wet sponge, and I've been using this sponge for like 20 years. And then I wet it. So then I just dab my paintbrush on it to keep it moist, but take most of the water off of it. Anyway, okay, this is what I do. I do the 3 dots. Where are you? Like there, 3 dots, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Anyway, that's what's fun when you're painting and exploring is, are you noticing different ways you create, like what you just have to have in your work? I'm very interested in that. I have a friend who, she makes this shape in her work that looks like, if you were to look down on it, it looks like a Viking ship, kind of like that shape. And she can't help it. It has to be in her work. And that's what got me thinking about my dots that I've always done. Oops, I went into orange and I meant to go into red. I'm going to go into red here. Now I'm going to do lines because I just am. But red lines have been showing up this month. Uh-oh. It's funny. Sometimes I'll put the weather in my days, but I get bored of that really easy. It's like I'm not interested in tracking the weather. Maybe if it was kind of a special, unique day or something, but so then I did that. So I'm just doing like little red lines. You look up really close to the orange color. It's really hard to see, but I like that. And then I did it up here too. I did this day on the 8th. I did red. Boop. And this year for Valentine's Day, I didn't do pink hearts or red hearts. I did green. And that's kind of a self-portrait. I don't know what I was listening to. Somebody said something like, if you're drawing people or you draw a face, you tend to draw your own face because it's the one you look at the most, like in the mirror. And there's like almost this muscle memory of drawing your own face. And I found that to be true for myself. I always try to just draw a face without looking or referencing anything. And it always ends up looking like me. And then I thought maybe I was weird or something was wrong with me. But it sounds like that's a very normal thing to happen. So, okay, now I'm going to go with this brush. It's a little bit smaller. And this is the Melinda's Magic Brush by Royal. I don't think this has a size on it. No size, but it's just a nice, kind of not sharp, but nice point to it. Not too big. I wonder what kind of art I would make if I had a really big studio. If I would go bigger. Not feeling that. So now I'm going into my green here. This is like my favorite shade of green. And it is called, see, this is why I wanted to find my tubes so I could tell you. Man, I can't remember. But I even put it in this palette in a pan here. So it's the same green here. I just really like it. And I'm going to go in here, and what am I going to do? I'm going to go like this. Oh, that's dark. I want a lighter green. So I'm going to go into my lighter green. This one says yellow green. Here. Yellow green. Ooh, that's cool. I kind of touched it onto the wet, darker green. That's kind of fun to do. I might have to let that dry before I can show you. Ooh, I like that. Kind of like a gradient. Let's see if I can tip this. I don't know if you can see it. Kind of mixed a little bit in the dark green. Yeah. Anyway, just doing random circles and stuff. Now I need to let that dry before. When I get behind doing this, I always like to start on the day I'm on, and then I work backwards. Because you know what's funny is that I don't even remember, like next month, I won't remember that I needed to do that, but I probably will because I'm videoing myself saying it. But I had the same thing happen last month, and I can't remember which days I didn't draw on that day. And it's funny how I forget to do it sometimes. Also, when I don't keep my calendar up and uncovered, I tend to forget I have it. So it got buried with other stuff like bills and things I need to take care of. So now I'm going to go into my dark purple, which I like this dark purple. Ooh, really nice, pretty. This is violet. Yeah, I think it was probably just plain violet. And I'm going to use this smaller brush. This is a Westwater number 8. See how little that is? Just going to go in, drop some water in the pan. And I'm going to the next day. I'm actually going to put this in Friday now, because I need to let Saturday dry there. And I think what I'm going to do is put a whole bunch of paint down. Ooh, that looks cool. Ooh. I'm going to do it again. 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And I did swirls. And what's cool is that now you can see like the pigment, it was wet and the pigment kind of collected in some spots. So it looks a little heavier. And that's because the paint's still wet with the water. And I did this on a dry piece of paper. I don't like to wet this paper first and then put paint into it because it can't take it. It's not really watercolor paper. So I just go into it one time. Because I don't like when my paper gets all weird and rough. Whew, I need some water. 2 weeks ago, it was dark when we were hanging out together, and tonight I can see the sun behind the clouds. The sun's starting to come this way into my window a little more each evening. And where are we? Almost 5:30, and it's still light out. Yay. Okay. So now I feel like I need to use like a pen. So I'll go watercolor, and then I'll get these are my Tombow twin tone pens. There's a very fine tip on one end and a very thick tip on the other one. I really like these. Or then I'll probably grab my colored pencil too. I don't know. It's just a need I have to use different materials. Here's my purple. There we go. And again, I'm using, these are my lovely polychrome Faber-Castell, made in Germany. Germany knows how to do their art supplies, man. And this is magenta number 133. These are not the same color purple, and that's okay. I don't mind that. You can see. Yeah. So let's see. How dark is this purple? Thick line. It's almost like, it just makes me think of stitching, like when I hand sew stuff or embroidery, the in and out of the thread through the fabric is like another thing that I'm kind of mimicking as I'm drawing, and I just got green on my finger. We have a question in the chat. Hi, Tracy. What do you typically use your Tombos for? I finally got a set. Landscape colors. Oh, gorgeous. I do, like, this is just drawing. Like, I'll paint and then I'll go in and make like more pattern or shape kind of things. And these are so nice for writing, like notes, or like you could probably even do a nice hand letter to somebody. And then this thin side, I just like to do my little, doodly things, like here, like on Thursday here, I used the really thin one for putting little things in there and writing really tiny or drawing really tiny. And then like here on the 11th, I did some with the thicker red and then thinner, and one of the pinks. So it's kind of like just layering, like the size of swirls and stuff. I hope that answers your question. I can't wait to see what you're doing with them. If you're using that for landscape, bless your heart. I'm excited to see that. Kind of fun to go out and do that plein air, like right when you're sitting there and just draw what you see. I used to do that a lot, and I don't know why. I have become kind of less patient with myself when I'm making art. It's almost like I just want to do something really quick, spend 10 minutes on it, and then that's all I want to do. I used to love to sit and paint for, hours. And right now I just don't like doing it. But I was in this art group for a while, and we'd meet at different locations. This was when I still lived in Olympia, and we'd meet at different locations, and it was during the summertime. And we went to different places, like somebody's garden. We had an amazing garden. I remember a lot of dahlias being there. And one time we went to a farm, and there was this really old barn. So when I look at those pieces, I go, oh yeah, I remember doing that. And then there was like an Orthodox church we went to. It was like out towards Yelm somewhere. And it had a gorgeous gold dome, which I hadn't seen. I mean, they're just not up here in the Northwest, right? And sitting there and trying to get the light that was hitting the dome in a certain way, I was able to do a pretty good job on that. It was one of my pieces that I really liked when I was doing that. And what was the other thing I was going to say about that? Oh, just being out for like 2 hours, 3 hours, just to see what you can make. It's kind of fun, because then it's like you're there, you do it, you let your stuff dry, and then you can go home and look at it later. And there was really nice people in that group too. Gosh, that was a long time ago. But anyway, yeah, plein air. painting and drawing and stuff. Oh, and then we do like a really kind critique afterwards if you wanted people to look at your work and suggest things, or, you know, just say, oh, that's nice, or whatever. It's low key, really nice. Okay, now I'm going to go in with my color pencil. Oh, this is more of a warm purple. This is, it says it's magenta. Okay. I don't think so. And like, can you hear that? Can you hear when I draw on it? I love that. I hope you can hear that. Oh. Ooh, that almost looks like a fishtail, like a whale was going down into the water. Oh, that's cute. I didn't even see that. Oh, you know another thing I started doing? I started drawing upside down. And it's kind of fun because it kind of makes your brain like it makes that critic in my head not have as much say. And so I'll draw upside down, and then I look at it, and then you can see something completely different. It's really fun. That's sort of a little magical moment there with that whale. I didn't really make that very whale-like. Looks like a Y now. It kind of looks like a person now. It looks like a face with my nuts. Anyway, that's fun. Okay, I'm going to take a break from that because I wanted, I'm going to talk to you guys about a book that was on my shelf. I pulled a book off my shelf. And it's called Chateau Gudanes, I think. It's a true love story. A true love story never ends. There's a couple from Australia that wanted to buy a French chateau and fix it up. And this is the house that took them years to be able to buy because of all kinds of red tape they had to go through. This house was falling apart. The roof was gone, and it was getting severe water damage. And it needed help, and it needed to be preserved. And basically, this is the story of them acquiring the property and how much hassle they got and unhelpful things that happened. And they finally were able to get some overseeing body in France to finally listen to them, that they needed help to acquire the house so they could put a new roof on it and then start the renovations. But I wanted to just show you a few things. So this, I don't know. I have a thing for old, like, wallpaper, things that are kind of falling apart. This is an actual photograph of some of the wallpaper in the house. There's an aesthetic to like a dilapidated house or falling apart, and then you live in it in the state it's in. Here, so this is a picture of the house, and this is located in southern France, really close to the Spain border. So people in this region speak Spanish and French, and then kind of a hybrid language. You're welcome, Tracy. Just saw that. No problem. And then this is a picture when people lived in the house. It's a postcard. And look at that little guy in the front there with his little standing there, this cute little posture. Anyway, I got a kick out of that. Well, the lady that wrote this, I forget what her name is. What is her name so I can tell you? Karina Waters. When I ordered this book, she sent me a handwritten note in this wax G for Gudanes. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that. And she put a handwritten note in it. And I kept it because snail mail, love snail mail. Wishing you a wonderful journey reading and turning each page. With my warmest wishes, Karina. Isn't that lovely? So I have this in my little tree that sits here. Anyway, there was a couple pictures I want to read a few things and just show you some of the magic in this book. In presenting this book to you, I must forewarn from the very beginning that this story is not just a fairy tale and fantastical adventure. For this story is more of a serendipitous one, and one which my family simply happened upon. And rather, at the heart of this story is a message of love. It wasn't the need to live out our dreams that beckoned us to cross oceans and that swept us off our feet the very first time we laid our eyes upon Chateau de Gudanes. It was love. But because true love is often a dramatic and heartbreaking cycle of the happiest of moments, embroidered with incalculable obstacles and challenges, this is a true love story of war and peace. Because love bears all things, believes all things, hopes, and endures all things. And so I have created this book so that just like the love story which it recounts it too is imperfect. For no love story could ever be written unless it was personal and true to love's beholder. Oh my God. Oh, I got a little misty there. Isn't that beautiful? Wow. Oh, there's more. Okay, we're still in the prelude here. Fittingly, and because this story is more so a casual fairy tale, it is written in mostly an informal fashion, with an ease of manner as if we were conversing together endlessly and confidentially as friends. Sitting down and sharing as each chapter progresses the story of a love that happened upon us, a love in all its ups and downs, a love that is made visible through work, a love that eventually begins to trust and reveal its secrets, a love that is patient through all the changing seasons, a love that grows to feel like home, and a love that is truly everlasting. And so, without further ado, I invite you to turn this page and set forth upon the adventure of a true love story that never ends. With fondness and friendship, Karina. And she put a photo of this really old embroidered, could have been a pillow or some sort of upholstery. It's exquisite. Anyway, I'm not interested in doing this myself because I don't even think I could go through another house renovation. I've already done it once. Maybe if I didn't have a time frame and it didn't matter if I was living in it or not, I could, but I wanted, if I could find this story. Oh, yeah. Here it is. I found it. Okay, so she had such lovely things in here. So this is like a bookmark, and this is the layout of the house with all the rooms. I feel like this was the first floor. And then, or maybe this is the second floor. Yeah, I think this might be the main floor here. All the rooms and it's been over a year since I read this book, so I forget some of the details, but there's part of this foundation, and down in the cellar, this home had been started like in the 1500s or something, like really old. So this house was once full of people and parties and joy, and then it sat empty for a really long time and just started to erode. But she found this particular story. I think some of the local people helped her find it. Let's see, where do I start it? So this happened in July of 1898, a workers' fete. It probably still counts for a lot, even in these democratic times, to have a prestigious name, but it is even better to live up to it. It is all very well having a great fortune, but it is even better to use it usefully and nobly. These philosophical reflections often came to mind when I attended the memorable sparkling fete which was held last Saturday at Chateau de Gudanes. Gudanes is a chateau dating from the time of Louis XIV, situated in the middle of the Haute Ariège, overlooking the village and the valley of Les Cabanes, between the spa towns of Ah and Aix-les-Bains. The setting certainly was beautiful. Opposite of the fertile plain of Saint-Martin on the left, the hilly Grand Avenue, which leads from the church up to the chateau, beneath a dome of thick branches. On the right, behind the beautiful large property, the valley of the Aston, so vast, so cool, where the sound of the torrent merges day and night with the noise made by the many hammers from the Chateau Verdun factories. Add to this the fact that it was a splendid evening, that the night was calm and peaceful, and that at one moment the moon suddenly appeared from behind a nearby peak and lent its pale, clear light to the fete. With its dignified, majestic facade, the chateau provided a wonderful backdrop to the beautiful illuminations which decorated it from its base to its pediment. The great courtyard and the large rectangular lawns which the chateau terrace looks down on formed an exceptional ballroom. Almost 3,000 Venetian glass lanterns hung above the heads of the dancers or were strung between the trees of the Grand Avenue, giving the party a fairy tale atmosphere. As rockets and fireworks were let off from halfway up the nearby mountainside, and Roman candles lit up the old ruins of Chateau Verdun, carriages arrived by the Grand Avenue filled with dancers from Ussat, followed by a group of donkeys from Ornolac, which were also decorated with different colored lanterns. The ball was open to all, and from one end of the valley to the other, everyone had hastened to participate in the joyful festivities. The policeman in uniform rubbed shoulders with the bourgeois gentleman in evening suit, and the elegant working class girl stood opposite the countrywoman in her Sunday best. All the houses had emptied, and the whole community was there, with no distinctions of class or political opinion. For whom or what was this cheering crowd? Which saint's day was being celebrated? Was it some sort of local festival? It was none of these things. The reason for all this pomp and joy was the homecoming of Monsieur Xavier Baudin de Mony with his bride. To tell you the truth, it seemed as if the entire valley had made it a point of honor to compete against each other in order to provide a reception and a welcome worthy of the daughter of our ambassador in London. Here, let me show you this. Was the picture with that bit. What a sweet little painting. That's a watercolor too, I think. Oh, how did I come across this beauty? Instagram. The Instagram account is Chateau. It's this Chateau de Gudanes. They have their own Instagram account. And then I just followed the link to their store because they have a lot of other lovely things for sale there. And I'll make sure that I put all this stuff down in the description. So, okay. Now so I'm going to show you this picture again. So now I'm on this picture. So there's the monsieur with his bride. Everybody's ready to party, having a good time. Okay. Again, this was called Serendipity of Secrets. What was particularly interesting and truly heartwarming about the whole event was this. It was not the lord and lady of the chateau who threw the party, wishing to include the local population in their happiness. The fête was organized in their honor by the local agricultural and industrial communities who are indebted to them for the relatively high standard of living they enjoy. In particular, it was the workers of the factories which Monsieur Baudin de Mony has just rebuilt so lavishly who had set their hearts upon contributing to the cost of all these illuminations and festivities. An instructive and encouraging spectacle. One often hears talk of the ingratitude of the working classes, and not without cause. And yet, in this case, this pessimistic judgment is well and truly disproved. On the contrary, here is a show of gratitude by the people, which upholds that well-known saying, one good turn deserves another. I am a little bit of a philosopher, and sometimes, in my spare time, an incorrigible optimist. So when I managed to tear myself away from all the excitement and return to the calm of the peaceful night, I kept thinking about what I have told myself many times before. If all great landowners had this fine attitude of living on their property, and if all factory owners lived amongst their workers, if all those who have inherited a fortune knew how to use it to improve the lives of the people around them, things would get much better. This was in the newspaper, L'Express du Midi. Xavier Baudin de Mony had just been married on July 6, 1896, to the daughter of the French ambassador to Britain, Alphonse Chaudron de Courcelles. Okay, so they didn't put her name in here? They didn't put her name in here. So, okay, that's really weird. That bothers me. Okay, she obviously had a name. So I just wanted to share that because there was love in the house. And I think that then the descendants of this couple ended up living in the house, and then their children and grandchildren lived in the house, and then at some point somewhere people just left because the village started to kind of decline, and there was less work, and there was a smaller population, which I think has happened all over the place. It's not this area is not unique to that, but I wanted to show this to you too. So the last family that lived in the house, this was in an upstairs bedroom. And this is where they would measure the kids' height. and it was falling apart, right, and getting destroyed by the elements and the rain. So I know they did what they could to preserve the rest of it. So Katrina and her family were able to find, I forget which guy, when he was a little boy, his measurement is on this wall. And he came to either visit the village or she invited him to come to the house because, she wanted somebody to know that the house was being saved and loved again. And she went up to the room with him, and how touched he was that she was keeping that in the house. So I just love stuff like that. Okay, let me show you some of this aesthetic that I'm talking about. Anyway, this is just the photos. She took photos through the whole renovation. I don't want to do a lot of spoilers in case you want to investigate and enjoy this yourself. There's even a recipe. So this area, I'm getting off track. I don't really have a track, but this area of France grew apples really well, just like Washington does. And so there's actually an apple pie recipe in the book, and it's in French. And I thought it'd be fun to make it. Forgot all about it till just now, so I'm gonna make sure I do that. So this house is near the Great Pyrenees Mountains, which separates France and Spain. So here you get kind of an idea of their terrain, and that's the house there on the bottom, and that's their little chapel in the house. They had their own chapel, but it's in this valley, this narrow valley. So they don't really have wide swaths of view like in other parts of France. They're in the mountains. And she kind of set this up by season. So she has like a winter and then into the spring and all of the things and all of the work they had to do and all the treasures she found. And I'm going to sit down and read this again because it was just so enjoyable. Here. This was one of the lower rooms that was for receiving. And you can see the floor is still in pretty good shape. They're fixing the fireplace. But then here, something got covered up. I forget what. But there was like paintings that a previous occupant covered up with this brown stuff. And when she found it, she was just like, oh, taking all that off, saving it. Yeah, here we go. This is a better photo. So it was painting. It was a mural. And so they're trying to remove all of this brownish pink stuff so they can get to the original. I follow an account on Facebook. It's called Old Houses, I think. And I know people were covering up these gorgeous tiled floors and their wood floors with carpet and stuff. And now as people are taking them up and discovering the gorgeous floors that were underneath, it's just like pretty neat. Oh, so this is cool. She found a trunk, or she found some sort of case or something that had all these old receipts in it. Oh, there were invoices. Invoices from local carpenters for the works to the roof and for the latest and most fashionable furniture. One invoice for some horse riding goodies was even from Hermé, one of the most famous of French marquises. And the accompanying letter attached to this invoice was signed in elegant cursive by M. Dumont, whose family had owned Hermès since 1837. Oh, this is the letter here. Cool. This woman basically left her family to take care of the home and see its improvements. I think she lived there with them. On the estate, she lived in like the carriage house or something that really needed some work too, for like a year, so that everybody could kind of wrap up their lives in Australia, and decided to join her when they could, because they were also trying to make sure that they could still work and earn money, because of course, you know, a project like this is kind of a money pit. But yeah, I'm trying to find this one picture. They found old pottery. They found old. This got covered up. This was in the back of the house. People used to decorate the roof in the wood. This is all paint, and it got covered up. And so she was taking that all down so that it could be in its original. And why would you cover that up? I don't know. And I'm being a little lazy and not telling you what that is. I didn't prepare very well to tell you how what stuff was. But the photographs she has in here are just, oh my God, look at this picture out a window. Okay. That's beautiful. Wow. Okay, like this. Not very prepared here. I'm trying to find some furniture in this old. They have bedrooms set up. They actually let people. Oh, here it is. Okay, so they left some dilapidation. Of course, it's safe, so they cleaned it up and everything. But then they added beds and furnishings, and I just love it. I love the old being left there. Oh, so romantic. Probably freeze your butt off, though. I think they have to have the fires going when people visit, but they let people rent rooms and stay there, and I think they feed them because they redid the kitchen, and oh my God. Oh my God. Look at that. Look at the wall all falling apart. That gorgeous bed. Anyway, I love whatever that is. Love it. Anyway, sharing this gorgeous book. Oh, and they set the table. Oh my God, look what she did in the stairwell. She put a chandelier really low next to the stairs. Oh my God. I think they do weddings now. So it's a way for them to have a little income to keep working on the house. Yeah. So, dining room. Open windows. Oh, can you just smell the air? Having a crisp apple standing at the door. And here it is at night. Looks really kind of creepy. I think this is before she started working on it. Looking a little sketch. Oh. Oh, and then there's some pictures of it at night with the lights on. So I'll leave you with this. The authors are Karina Waters and Jasmine Waters. There are historians and restorers that she cites. There's illustrations she cites, design assistants, and photography. So a lot of people helped make this beautiful book. Anyway, again, that was Chateau de Gudanes. And then when she had this wrapped in paper of this photo. So she made wrapping paper with this photo. And on the other side of it was winter of the house through the gate. So she probably used for whatever season people were buying the book. And I thought that was really clever. So I wanted to share that with you. Because I don't know why, I just love old house stories, like people saving old houses. I love it. We just so easily throw things away and don't, tear things down. And it's nice that people care, want to take care of things. I'm going to go upside down. Glad you love it, Tracy. I think you'd really enjoy that book. I'm sure there's other people doing it too. I kind of go down a rabbit hole for a while and then I stop. Okay, so I'm gonna go against what I said I was gonna do earlier, and I just have water on my brush. I'm putting water on my paper, and now I'm gonna pick up. I'm gonna do red using my number 5 brush, and I'm just touching it to the water, and then it kind of did this bleed thing. Ooh, it's a little wet. There we go. Yep. And then I'm going to go in, I'm going to grab my gold here, my darker gold. I'm not sure how these are different, but I don't know if that makes sense. Darker gold. And I'm just going to touch it. Oh, that didn't work. I've tried this before. It doesn't work very well for some reason on this paper. I think I probably should put water on the paint and let it sit longer. It takes a little bit for it to hydrate, which is not what I'm used to with my other pigments. Maybe that, here, let me just let that sit with some water. I'm going to try it again here in a little bit. Okay, so, what's funny is I am trying to tell some sort of a story or a moment with each of these. What's funny is I can't remember when I do them. Like in the moment, it's like makes sense. And then when I, a couple weeks go by and I look at these and I go, what was I doing there? Oh, here's one I did on the 9th. I did numbers, so I just repeated like 1, 1, 1, and then the next one was 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, and then I did 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, just to see what it would look like. And I just wonder if people would notice that if I hadn't pointed it out. I think people would. Anyway, so now I'm going to go back. You were asking about these, Tracy. I'm going to go back in with this thick one. My thick, what is it? What's it called? Tombow. And what I did for yesterday. And I'm just going to just draw some thicker stuff in here. I think the way that I like to draw is sometimes I'll start something and then I'll leave it for a bit and then I'll come back to it and add to it. It's like I just don't always create a piece of an artwork in one sitting. It's like sometimes I just come back and add, or embellish. And for some reason, those need to be, so then I added all those little circles with that wider tip. Now I'm going to do, what am I going to do? I think those need to be silver. And I don't have any water in my silver, so put some water in my silver. Let it sit. Okay, so this is the gold. Which one is it? This gold is where I just put the water in this one. Woo! Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I think I picked up some good pigment. You can see that. Oh yeah, okay, that's better. Since I hydrated them and mixed them, I don't know, it's weird. They seem to take a bit longer to hydrate for some reason. So I don't know if I messed up the coating or what. And I'm trying to go in with my red. Aww. Ooh. Okay. Now it looks a little. There we go. Well, now I'm on the dry paper, so now it's working. So I don't know why the wet on wet's not working very well tonight. Huh. Okay. I did some more dots. Interesting. I think when that's dry, I'm going to trace that with the red, the light. This one here, pink. I think I had a red one. There we go. Strawberry red. Okay, so I'll wait for that to dry. Let's see. Oh, my silver. I'm going to go in with my Melinda's magic brush. And I should go change my water is now pink, and I'm trying to put it in my silver paint. I don't love doing that because then it'll make it red. Oh, let's pick it up okay. It's hard to do this backwards. Okay, making my dots silver now. It's getting dark now. I can't see. It'll look better once it's dry. I think I'll challenge myself. I just added, I went back to Saturday and just added like thin things. And now that I'm looking at this far away, why didn't I do it upside down like I said I would? I'm going to draw something because I'm kind of lazy. So I'll be not lazy and draw something like what? I don't know. I planted tulips today. I'm going to draw a tulip. And of course, I picked a pen that's not working very well. Early, late winter, early spring, late winter. Actually, we've got like a month left of winter, don't we? Okay. So I drew that. It made me think of like a mini banana. So now I have to give it a face. Okay, now I got to paint it because this isn't working very well. Okay, now I'm going to go to my microns. Oh, 1 micron, my blue one. I wish I had an orange one of these. Well, okay, I'm gonna pick my this doesn't have any information on it. What? I think this was in a set with other brushes, the same handle, and then different sizes like this, say. And I think I broke it up because I have very specific brushes for like my watercolor. I won't use with any other type of paint. Maybe acrylic, but then I have to wash it out right away. But I will never mix my watercolor and then try to do oil paintings with them or do murals or anything with them. I'm very precious about my watercolor brushes. So I'm going to pick this one and I'm going to get some orange here. Might be too much pigment, but I like the square. I like the square shape of this. Gives you a nice edge if you want it. Draw straight, like nice blocks of strips, and you can make squares and stuff. Well, that's cute. I have this thing for orange and pink. Don't know why. Again, just something that I enjoy together, orange and pink. And I don't really have an appropriate pink color. I might just have to use my colored pencils. Well, I'll just throw a little red in here for fun. Let that mix. Oop, too much. Oop. Okay. Why didn't I give him? Okay, this is not a banana. It's still a tulip, but I put a face in there. What do I do? What color do I make him? I might do pink. I'm gonna put a little bit of red in there. Ooh. Guys, I'm gonna check my phone because I think people are trying to get on the live. I'll be right back. Oh no. Oh, weird. I thought that stuff dried. Okay, that's weird. So my micron, usually when it dries, it should not come up. But I got it a little bit wet with the red, and now it looks purple. That's weird. Awesome. Oh, I love it, Tracy. Oh, I love your movement in the center there. Oh, I love it. Are you going to go around each color and make a different pattern? Is that what you're doing? Oh, I love that so much. I won't show it unless I get an okay from you. Because I could show it, but I love the like feathery. They almost look like okay. I love it. Okay, so this is what Tracy's making. Oh, bad lighting. Okay, this. I love that. Ooh. Like feather limbs without leaves. I almost thought maybe like bird feet, but there's too many little tendrils. I love that. And then look at this repeating shape. That looks like an M to me. M, 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 M. Oh, I love it. I love how you started an M and then it kind of gradually became a little more abstract. And what is it? Now it's doctor handwriting. And then this other shape. Ah! I have to think backwards when I do this. I love that. Leaves. Like, oh, that is so cool, Tracy. Yes. Lovely. Look what a cool pattern that makes. Like when you kind of look at it from far away, it's like you can see the colors, like the contrast of the green. I think that's green. You got a light green with the black of the pen. Were you using a micron on that one? Oh, fuck, cool. Oop, I said the F word. I have to block that out later. Oh, good. Okay, and oh, my words are blocking it, but then here, this. Wow. I love that. I could stare at that for, yep, I could stare at that for a really long time. And I love how, like, it's dark here, like you had a little more lines meeting here and over here. Yeah, that's really cool. So it's going to be fun to see the other shapes you decide to come up with. And this, I don't know, the middle's kind of giving me almost sunflower vibes. That may not be your intention, but isn't it fun to hear what other people are thinking? And it almost makes me think of, it almost also looks like a school of fish when they do their, birds do it too. A lot of animals do. They flock or they're swimming together, and it makes me think of wind. So I'm digging this, girl. It's like you took the sun rays and you're breaking it into specific rays, and oh, I love it. Thank you for sending that. Oh, I love it. And then tell me what watercolors you're using. Like what are you using now in your paper? Oh, I love it. Thank you, Tracy. Yeah, it helps me. It's nice that there's a few of you here. I would probably just do this if it was just me. Oh, you're using Van Gogh paints? Nice. I've never tried those. I use Winston, not Winston. Yeah, Windsor Newton, Winston. I'm not Winston. What am I thinking of? Windsor Newton and Pelikan. But the stuff in the tubes, oh, I think I have some Daniel Smith only because that's up here in Seattle. So that's easy to go to the store. But yeah. Oh, really? Olifant? Oh, yeah. Cool. Love it. Yeah, I think are they tubes or did you get it in a pallet? I'm only curious because I think you got 140-pound paper. That's nice. Nice. Yeah, palette, I feel like kind of takes the pressure off of what colors to get. You know, like, "Ooh, what do I do?" Because there's so many different ones to pick. And I don't know. For me, I having this palette be my first one was just a good place to start. And then I know I tried other colors and stuff, but Doodle Hawk Sketchpad, nice, love it. I love talking art supplies. I could talk art supplies all day. All day. I love it. Yeah. Do you have a favorite brush or two that you keep going back to? I'm gonna get the one that I've just absolutely beat up. This paintbrush came with the purchase of the paint palette, my very first time. A Rixson 8, nice. This is so old. I can't even read it anymore. Let's see here. Ultra round, made in Japan. Oh my God. I've used it so much that all the writing's gone. And also you can see how worn the hairs are. But this was the paintbrush that I learned how to watercolor in, and then this just became my default. And I think that's probably why I was trying to replace it with this one, which isn't quite right, but it's close. Oh, you've got all different shapes. That's great. Different sizes. Yeah. I think these are synthetic. I don't know. I always felt kind of funny buying like red sable brushes or horsehair. No, those are great. It's a great start. Get used to what you like and the weight of it. You can see the bevel on this is really loose and it turns. That's how much I've used it. And I'm going to dip it in the water and try it tonight. I think I gave up on it just because it started, my painting started to look kind of worn. And I like worn things. I like worn houses. So maybe I should let's see what this brush does here. Nice and wet. I don't know if you can see all the layers. So the brush matches my layers in my hair. I've broken them off. Oh, can bury me with this brush. I love it. Still, I wish I could replace it perfectly because the other ones just don't quite feel right because I painted with this for so long. Okay, I'm going to go back to the tulip, but I'm going to make a line with this brush. Oh my God. It's scraggly. I love it. Oh no. I need to stop being precious with this and just keep using it. You had mismatched set from the free bin at the West Side Club. Oh, cool. That's a good way to start. That's fun. Okay, so bringing that back to my rotation, and I made those blue marks with it. See, kind of scraggly, a little bit jagged. Okay, let's go back to tulip because I was still trying to work on my face here. All right, so I wanted some pink in here. Is that dry? I don't understand why the micron came up though. Okay, here's my pink. This is my pink, and this is my Supra Color 2 Soft Caran d'Ache Swiss made. Where the hell did I get this? I think I got it at Artist and Craftsman Supply here in Tacoma, which is employee owned. This is called Rose Pink, number 081. Ooh, I hear my puppies scratching around. They're crated right now, taking a nap before dinner. They're like little kids. They don't want to go to sleep. They get really wound up and then but then when we say crate, they go right into the crate. So they know it's time to rest. Hey, that looks kind of neat. So I covered up the red a little bit with pink. God, that's really hard to see. Wow, I really took the red down on that more than I wanted to. Oh, wow. That's neat. Okay, maybe you can see it. Like right here. Ah. Right here, I went over the red with the pink. That did really well. Oh, I like that. I don't do that very much. Like usually when I'm kind of precious when I put my paint down, I don't want to cover it up. But that, I have to say, I'm kind of loving that. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to my little round number 5, and I'm going to go back in the red. And I picked up too much pigment, but I'm going to go in here a little bit. And I did a little bit of that. And then I'm going to go in with water and knock that down just a little bit. Okay, I don't love that. I don't like painting on top of the color pencil. It doesn't feel very good. Okay. Interesting. But now his face went too far back. I can't really see what I'm trying to do there. So I'm going to go in with a little more orange. And I'm painting on top of the colored pencil. Oh no. Okay. Here we go. Little dude's got his face colored orange now. God, I wish I had pink paint. The problem is the red I have mixed with white does not make the shade of pink that I want, and I haven't ever really figured out the perfect red. Like, what red do I want to make pink? And then where would I put it? Because all my pans are full. Yep. You know what I could do? I've had this spot up here. This is where I always like practice my pink. See, I just did some. This could be my pink. And then just let it dry. That's the other thing I love about watercolor is, oh my gosh, you're not going to lose it if you don't use it. Like acrylic, you put acrylic out and then you end up not using it. It dries and you can never reconstitute it, make it usable again. That has always driven me crazy. So that's the other reason I like watercolor. And I have to say that there was a time when I think some of my paints in this palette got so old that they started to smell kind of funny. And I would think that would make sense because if you're wetting something and letting it dry for like 20 years, there might be something to start to grow in there. They don't now. But I also had to be careful not to close my palette when my paints were wet. I don't think I ever got a mold problem, but like to my mind, I was thinking that probably wasn't a good thing to do. Like really let them dry out before you close everything. And I let this one sit out all the time that it gets lint in it. So sometimes when I pick it up, then I have to, pick a little piece of lint off the. Now I have dog hair in my house, so that ends up getting in there too. That's fine, whatever. Okay, so now I have this tulip and it needs green because it has, I don't know, tulips have leaves. They have green stems. So now I'm going to grab my Faber-Castell Emerald Green 163 and my light green 171. And I'm going to just kind of hint two leaves kind of abstractly. And of course, this is upside down, so I might be being too literal here. I used a lot of green this month for some reason. I don't think about it too hard. Just like, oh yeah, whatever. Okay, so I just kind of did like a background with the green. And now I turned it over. It looks like somebody bent over looking through their legs. That's funny. Okay, so now I'm going to work on it the right way up. And I'm going to pick black. I'm going to go in with my colored pencil black. This is black 199, my Faber-Castell. And I'm going to go like this. I'm probably going to regret doing this. I'm just, I don't know, drawing some stuff. Oh, maybe he's trying to stand on his head. He's going to do like a somersault. That's what I'm going to make that mean. And he's kind of in the grass, and it's starting to turn spring, so things are freshly green. And he's feeling silly. And I still think I need some more pink in there. Huh. Almost looks like a bug. I don't know what I'm doing. That's part of the fun, though. Now I'm going to pick my... Oh, this was the new salmon one that I found. It's okay. I don't think I'll ever be able to replace the one I lost that I loved so much. I hate when I get attached to stuff like that. And then something changes, or, like for example, there was something that I was using a lot, and then the next time I went to go get it, it was different, or it was not as much, or it wasn't exactly the right color. And it's almost like I have to start over again to find the right replacement, because sometimes it just doesn't feel right. So I'm gonna put some orange in here, colored pencil, and I think it's just regular orange. Oh, it's dark cadmium. Okay, 115. Trying to get my orange pink. But then see, the other thing is putting colored pencil on top of that. Now it kind of flattened it out. Oh, I don't love that. Anyway, there's my little dude standing on his head. I might go back in there in a day or two and see something else, which is kind of fun. Like I'll come back in a couple days and look at something and go, ooh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to add that. Oh, yeah. So then I've got my 20th with my original paintbrush. I'm going to use my blue pen, and I'm going to do, inspired by Tracy, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to go with my circles. It's going to look like seaweed. All of a sudden now it's underwater. I remember as a kid, I would do drawings. I remember one time, I might have told this story already. I was in 5th grade. Miss Ohanian was my 5th grade teacher. And I drew this elaborate underwater scene with a cave on one side. And then I had a shark turning. I was so proud of myself, like was learning how to like make the shark, draw the shark tail so it looked like it was turning. And then I had fish, and I had, of course, a treasure chest with some jewels in it and seaweed and the whole thing. And it took up like my entire desk. And I was so proud of it. And I showed my teacher. She didn't say anything but erase it. Gutted. I don't know why that was one of those moments of, you just remember, right? So I did, but I was really pissed off about it. And I feel like we had Ajax in the classroom with a sponge. You had to put Ajax on the table and use the sponge to get it in there and wipe all the stuff off. I liked her less after that day. And I liked her. She was one of my favorite teachers, but that really gutted me. But I didn't stop drawing my underwater pictures. And I still do it. But it's like I draw what's in the air now. Only because I feel like that's what's in my brain, and like what I see was like happening out there more than something swimming underneath the ocean. That makes sense. I see people's artwork where they do like the, really detailed representational drawings of, plants and animals and things, and they're lovely and they can go in textbooks or whatever. But when I sit down to draw like that, I just am not interested in copying something that's already there. That makes sense. I mean, I appreciate the art. I think it's great and lovely, but right now it's just not, that's not how I'm creating. I don't care. I'm living in this maximalist, wild, colorful world of whateverness kind of. Oh, that looks neat. I just did a blue. Wait, where is it? Right here. Circles. I did like some really small circles, and then I did some dots, thinking that might be seaweed. That looks really cool. And then, okay, I don't know why. It kind of goes back to this stuff here when I was trying to do like dashes and X's and stuff. I don't know why. I feel kind of like I'm a lazy artist right now. I'm going to do X's, and I'm going to see what they look like. And I'm going to do them really small. Oh, this piece of art is still hanging in my mom's house. And I was a freshman in college, and I was learning how to do drawing and paint and stuff. And the assignment was to just dot whatever you wanted to draw. All you did was just dot. And so then it would matter how many dots were close together to make the shading or make it darker. And it was a soccer ball, right? Did I do that with a soccer ball? And a strawberry, right? Yeah. So then I had to do the shading and the seeds, and all you had to do is just, I remember just sitting in my room for, I felt like hours just, doing dots. It's kind of what I was thinking with the X's right here. It was like, just do a shape like over and over. And you can make like shadow and like leave negative space of the paper and stuff. And I saw the coolest piece of art once. I think I was at the Tacoma Art Museum. Nope, I was in the Seattle Art Museum. Somebody did people's faces portraits using their credit card numbers. So, you know how they were raised? Some of them are now, but they're starting to not do that anymore because we're not doing the, that swipe machine we used to do to get the impression. But she had the credit card numbers under the paper, and then she was doing like like you take a graphite pencil and just do it real light to get the, people would do that on cemetery headstones and stuff. But then she would just change the angle of the numbers and move it and go harder or softer, and then she did it in such a way that then you could see the person's face. And I thought that was brilliant. And I've always thought about trying to do that, and I just never have. But that's kind of the same thing I was thinking about, is you're repeating a shape, whatever it is, to make your image or whatever you're trying to draw. I think that's a really awesome technique. And I don't know, I think that was probably one of the most brilliant things I ever seen. And oh my God, whatever show that was very memorable, because then there was another artist who did a piece, and he used light. So there was a light source hitting the wall, and then there was the shadow of, say, someone's head or, someone's face. But to get that shape or the image on the wall, he used different sized blocks or pieces of wood that were on the wall. And so if you were to look at those without the light, it didn't really make any sense. But then when the light hit the wood in such a way, then the shadow it cast made the head or the whatever it was, like might have been even like a circle or a basketball or, something like that. I also thought that was brilliant. Very memorable. I've had the best time. Every time I've ever gone into that building, I just see the most amazing things. I remember seeing, what was the thing Bill Gates bought that Leonardo da Vinci created? His codex of all his drawings and stuff. They had that on display, and that was unbelievably inspiring. That man's brain. He thought up some incredible stuff. It was so cool to actually see the paper that he touched and drew on. Wow, it's neat. They had that displayed in like these, I want to say, like tubes, like glass or plexiglass tubes. And then the paper was inside, kind of somehow not suspended, but you could see both sides of the piece of paper. And there was a light on top of it, but the light would dim, and then it would get a little bit brighter, and then it would dim again. And that was to protect the ink so that it didn't get too damaged by like a light source on it. And I thought that was really interesting too. That was memorable. Oh, I did my dots again. So here's my second little piece of seaweed with my X's and dots. And again, I'm just using that 01 micron. Okay, so now for some reason I have to use the green one. So I'm going to get the green one. Always seems like the one I want to use is always buried. There we go. Okay, so this is the 01 green. God, I love 01. Okay, and I'm going to go into my seaweed. What am I going to do? I think I'm just going to do like long seaweed. Kind of like this. Ooh, that looks cool. Oh, and I'm not going to go too much, but there kind of gives the seaweed movement. Kind of hard to see, but the blue and the green complements each other very nicely. Then I think I'm going to go behind with some green. Again, using the green. I was watching this show last night. People like trying to find Bigfoot. People who were interviewed and have actually seen it or seen something that was terrifyingly large and bipedal. Of course, it seems like nobody can ever get a good, clear shot of it. It's kind of funny that we have such good cameras and nobody can get a good photo. But then the next show took place in the ocean, and there is some sort of giant creature swimming around the Sea of Cortez and the near Baja, or like in that between the Bahamian Peninsula and Mexico. And fishermen have seen this giant, like black shark. They keep saying how big it is. So they were looking for it. And of course, they couldn't find it when they were looking for it. But anyway, now that I'm doing seaweed, and they were talking about the sea lions acting scared, like they didn't want to go out in the open water. Well, I wouldn't either. There's something out there that's going to eat me. Forget it. I declared that today. I was like, nah, I'm not going to go out into the ocean. I'm just going to stay right here. There's too much stuff starting to show up that there was some, it's like a really old fish. I think it was a fish, some sort. It was a marine creature in the ocean. They thought was extinct, and it's huge, and it has really big, beady eyes. And they found one, like in the last year or so. One came up off out of the depths or something, and so that's why we can't really know what the heck's down there and be for certain of it, just because people don't see it, right? That makes sense to me. And this thing was ugly. I need to look that up because I was like, what? No way. But yep, big, giant, ugly creature. I'll just stay on land. It has its own challenges, but that's okay. Okay, so just did a little bit of seaweed in the background there. Yeah, so I kind of got caught up on my week. And I'm definitely going to go back into this one. This is unfinished. He's going to get more attention. And this guy too. Like, oh, this was cool. I used this brush to make that. And I just kind of went in with the paint and just like boop, and then shifted it and went boop, and shifted it and went boop, and it made that cool shape, which made me think of New Mexico for some reason. And that's that ochre color. Is it ochre? Burnt sienna that I don't love. And I know lots of people use it. And they use it regularly. But I'm always like, oh. I also saw this, oh my gosh, somebody was really mixing paints really well to take the red, the yellow, and the blue, which are all primary, and they were all in, like in a pan like this, right? So each color was in a pan, and then the palette was really long, so it had a whole bunch of wells in it. And then they would mix two colors, yellow, blue to make the green, and then yellow, red to make the purple, and then it would keep going, like using that green to mix with whatever. And it kind of blew my mind a little bit, because once you get into like those secondary colors, I should go back and watch the video, because it was kind of fast. It was one of those 30-second reels, They drive me crazy, because I want to spend time looking at stuff, and they just go boom, boom, boom. Next, Oh my gosh, we have 1 week left in February, and it's leap year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days left. There's a leap year, so there's a February 29th. So all the February 29 babies get a birthday this year. And then I'm going to be moving into the next time I live. I'll be into March. Blank and ready to go. Ooh, I finished April too, so now April's ready. What will she put inside of it? Oh my gosh. So my blank, so I was doing like January, February, blank page for whatever, right? You guys have seen that. So I'm already excited and started filling up my next blank page, which I think I showed my last live too. I talked about the prompts and stuff that I haven't spent time with that. And I was committed to spending time with my European journal, with my travels, and getting it a little more organized, and at least stuff taped in it or something. And I was going to use some of these prompts to make some new art from some of the memories from Europe, and I haven't done it yet. And every time I look at this page, I go, oh, I want to spend time doing that. And we have how much time left? Not much time left. 7 minutes. How'd it go so fast? And then my next blank page, I've already started to fill up. So that's what this is starting to look like. So you can see I used some of the copper paints from my palette and the gold. And then this is the little envelope that I showed you guys how to make in January. And something's going to go in there. I just don't know what yet. But won't that be fun? And I might make some more of those. Stick them in here. I like pockets. It's kind of fun. And then the summer is going to come soon. And then my next blank page, I've got a few things in there. But I don't want to fill them up too soon. Not till I get to the summer months and stuff. So yeah, I'm really enjoying my little journal in here, my calendar. Oh, I went back in and I talked about my salmon colors last time. Sorry. And I did like a little swatch of each one. I wrote down all the numbers so that I could go in here and look at it and go, ooh, which one do I want? Because one's more orangey, one's more pink. Like this one's a little more pink. This one's a little more orange. this middle one here. And then the other thing I did was I went in. This is what I talk about when I say I like to go back in and work stuff, because I just felt like working with a small pen, and so I came back in and just did these little doodles that are just hanging out. I was trying to do a some sort of a weave or a lattice thing here with some hearts, because I was thinking about Valentine's Day. But they kind of look like fireworks to me. So like a little moment in time. I enjoy drawing those funny little things. Yeah. Anyway, that was fun. Let me leave you with one European memory. Just okay. Which one is that one? That is, I got to write these things down. They're starting to disappear off the ink's disappearing off the paper. La Chateau. What is that? Oh, we had 2 espresso. We had a plat du jour for 10 euros. A dessert du jour. Oh, we shared. We had 2 plat du jours, but I don't know what they were. What day was that? 26th of May. We were in Paris. I can go back through like my bank account to see what the charge was. That's one thing I figured out. Some of this stuff I can't read anymore because I've taken too long to write it down. Okay, 2 espressos and 2 plates. So we had plate of the day, the dessert of the day, and the total came to 32 euros. That's not too bad. That's like 15 a person. And actually, I can't remember. I don't think we tipped in Paris because they pay their workers pretty well. So that's not a thing over there. I'll have to get back to you on that one. I don't have a memory. I'm sure it was delicious. Might have taken a photo of it. Yep. Oh, we went to the Chen market. What did we get? We got water because it was such a hot day. Oh, this was like oh my God, it was in a really touristy area. There were so many people on the street. It was up near the Sacré-Cœur up in Montmartre. And it was a really hot day. So we got water. And I don't know. But then I remember standing there in the shade and just kind of guzzling my water for a little bit, just being amazed at how many people were in this area. Yikes. Oh, it was a Asian market, and they had all kinds of different foods, and they had a lot of like prepared easy eat things, and yeah, that was fun. I remember watching a girl take a TikTok of herself because there was some fancy ice cream shop that people were getting these big cones, like the big waffle cones, and then she had like 3 dollops of scoops of ice cream or whatever, and they were really pretty. They were very picture worthy, and she was standing in the middle of the street with all the people with her ice cream and we actually came upon quite a few people doing videos and TikToks and things, and somebody was having like a little fashion photo moment when we were walking up the stairs. He was wearing, the outfit was like a fur vest, and it was a hot day, and I thought that was funny. but I'm sure the pictures came out really cute. He was really sweet. I smiled at him when I went by. Some of this stuff doesn't have a name on it. We had a liter of water. We had a beer pint, a gin and tonic, tartare steak, not steak tartare, but tartare de moulet, which was raw beef with an egg on top. Amazing. I remember loving steak tartare as a kid. I don't know why, but I really liked that. And then the cuisine de canard, which I don't know what that was. A tart and an espresso. Cute. And that one was a little more expensive. So we had a liter of water. So we had the one with the bubbles with the gas. Shared that one. 2 drinks. 2 things to eat. We shared a dessert, and then we shared a coffee, and that was 61 euros. That was on the 25th of May. And again, can't remember quite what we ate, but I'm sure I took a photo of it. It's fun to go back and look at the pictures and go, oh my God, that was so good. Oh, wow. This was on the 24th of May. I'm going backwards here. We had 2 langoustines, which are like shrimp things. Langoustines are like crawfish. A couteau, which I don't remember what that was. A cognac. A rissolet. And a moulier. I don't remember what any of those are. Oh man, this was at a restaurant that was kind of on the fancy side. And I felt like their prices were a little high for the amount of food we got. So I felt a little gypped with that. But I remembered this because the chef was a female and the kitchen was open and we could see her cooking. And I'd watched the man that was waiting on us. I don't know what the word for his role would be, but he and the chef weren't getting along. And I could tell she was really irritated with him. And they were kind of being snarky with each other. And that made me feel uncomfortable. I'm kind of laughing about it now because it's a memory of, coworkers button heads a little bit. But yeah, we weren't super impressed with. I mean, the food was nice, it was good, but it's like we ordered 1, 2, 3 things and spent 50 euros on food and drinks and still felt hungry when we left. I feel like that's kind of a gyp because we had plenty of other experiences where we didn't spend as much, or if we did, we were always satiated or had plenty to eat and almost felt like we overate a lot of times because they just plate at a nice, I feel like one of the things that people always were saying to us is like America's always big about everything. And it's definitely true. When we go out to eat, they give us such large portions, which is what we're used to. And then we could have leftovers. But in Paris, you would get enough to have a nice meal and feel satiated. And sometimes you'd have leftovers and sometimes you wouldn't, but you wouldn't feel bad because the prices and the amount of food you got were equal. So you didn't feel gypped, and just so delicious. I mean, the pride they take in their food service and their preparation is just it was uniform throughout the entire time we were in Europe. It was just had delicious, lovely food. Really nice. Yep. So those are some of my memories. And I've gone over 2 hours. And I thank you for joining me. And I will see you on the next video. best food in France. Glad you're drooling. Thanks for joining me. Bye.